Ospreys, I'm Kara Jackson.
And I'm Hannah Lee. And this week on Nest News, we see the Osprey Connector adding new bus stops.
Plus, we find out how you can stay healthy while on a budget.
Nest News starts right now. Earlier this week, Special Counsel Robert Mueller found no collusion with President Donald Trump's campaign for the 2016 election. Since then, a senior department official has released the approximate length of the Mueller report.
The Mueller report is reported to be more than 300 pages long. President Trump spoke to Fox News and gave his side on the matter.
Well, we're very happy about it. It's gone on for a long time, almost since the beginning of my term, and if you look at it, we've done so much despite that, but it was a cloud. It was a cloud that most people didn't believe, fortunately. They spent more than $30 million, hundreds of interviews of people, in some cases very innocent people that were put through the ringer, millions of document pages, millions and millions of document pages, and after that there was no collusion, there was no obstruction. It was such a ridiculous thing that happened. On the other hand, you look at how did this start? How did it start? You had dirty cops. You had people that are bad. FBI folks, I know so many. They're incredible people. But at the top, they were not clean, to put it mildly. And what they did to our country was a terrible, terrible thing.
Starting Monday, the Osprey Connector added new stops on its route along the library and student union as part of a pilot program to see if they're worth adding permanently. I had the chance to speak with students and get their take on the new stops.
The Osprey Connector added 2 new routes, one to the library and one to the student union, making it easier for students to get on and get where they need to go. The temporary stops are part of a pilot program to see if they're worth adding the stops permanently to the shuttle route. Some students love the new stops.
I think it's easier and quicker, and I can get from the gym to the dorms faster. If you time it right or whatever, if the bus is there, it's quicker to get back from here to the dorms.
The stop by the student union will be located beside the arena garage, and the stop at the library will share the same stop as the town center shuttle.
For me, if you're doing mechanical engineering, it's kind of different to switch from the route going from arena to the engineering building. It take a couple more minutes to get back around to that point. I think it's just an inconvenience for some people, but for others, I can see how it's helpful with those stops, hitting different stuff, hitting different times.
This has been Hannah Lee with Spinnaker News.
Students will only have until April 26th to enjoy these new stops before these routes are planned to be removed.
The signs are true. Panda Express will be expanding their hours. The American Chinese restaurant will now be open from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the weekends. The Boathouse, on the other hand, is cutting back its hours. It will now be closed on the weekend. The change is going to affect tomorrow, the 30th.
The Student Nutrition and Dietetics Association held a cooking class this week focusing on cooking healthy and inexpensively. Ashlyn Glauke has the inside scoop.
The Student Nutrition and Dietetics Association demonstrated how students can eat healthy while still saving money.
There's going to be minimal ingredients, minimal utensils and cooking equipment to make it nice and easy for you and to shed light on items that normally wouldn't be used in a conventional way or even more conventional.
The association shared 3 full meals, one for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We're going to be doing egg muffins. We're going to have 4 variations of that. We have easy ramen chicken lo mein, and then we have a quick and easy burrito bowl.
Students were able to enjoy some delicious foods while keeping their stomachs full and their wallet fuller. This is Ashlyn Glauke with Spinnaker News.
SNDA hopes to continue spreading the word of healthy diets that don't put a hole in your wallet. Coming up, we see a new Disney movie take flight.
And which pop singer's journal was found. We'll be talking about this and more after the break.
You're watching Nest News on Spinnaker TV.
9, 8, 7, 6. We have main engine start. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let me tell you a little bit about the STEM. My name's Lee Gia. My friends and I have done some amazing things on this show, like flying through hurricanes, or driving Teslas, or swimming with manatees, or even floating in zero gravity. We film these things and bring them here, to the world's next great science and spaceship. That's where the STEM comes in. We go on adventures as an excuse to learn something. The universe is a pretty big place. There's a lot to learn. A lot that's interesting to learn. Over the next year or so, we'll be riding in the centrifuge. Farm in the heart of New York City. Fly a spaceship. Fly President Harry Truman's Air Force One. Launch some rockets. Catch some rockets.
Nice!
Shoot video at the speed of light. Our world and universe are there, waiting to be explored. The question is, what are you waiting for?
Lil Wayne, Kathy Gifford, Jussie Smollett, and Dumbo. These are the topics we'll be discussing today.
Here's this week's pop culture rundown.
Lil Wayne is surfacing the media tonight as a once-written notebook filled with his old lyrics turns up out of nowhere.
That's right, Hannah. Lil Wayne is insisting that the notebook filled with his old lyrics be returned immediately. The notebook dates back to 20 years ago in 1999. The man who claims responsibility for it at the moment says he found it wedged in a car that Cash Money Records once possessed.
Wayne's legal team says he never purposely left it somewhere, he just happened to misplace it. Gary Zimmett, the owner of Moments in Time, the website where the owner is selling it, is saying that if Wayne wants the notebook, he'll have to man up and buy it himself. What do you think?
I mean, finders keepers, I think.
All right.
This week, the Today Show is planning to say goodbye to one of their most memorable hosts. After 11 years on the show, co-anchor Kathy Lee Gifford is saying farewell to her longtime TV family.
Tuesday night, friends and colleagues, including Hoda Kotb and Al Roker, gathered to celebrate her final days on the show. She's expected to exit the show on April 5th, with Jenna Bush Hager set to be her replacement. Did you watch the Today Show?
Yes, I love the Today Show. I'm going to miss her so much.
I know, I used to watch as a kid, and it's so weird to see her gone. Now, in the case pertaining to Jussie Smollett, news was received that all charges against him have been dropped. He was facing 16 felony charges for allegedly lying to the police in what was said to be a planned attack on himself.
Smollett ended up paying his $10,000 bond, but the question that's still on the table is, why were the charges dropped in the first place?
I do know that the city of Chicago is planning on suing Jussie Smollett, and I know that the state attorney, Kim Foxx, notified Chicago PD that she was releasing the case because Smollett would have only received community service if he pleads guilty. Foxx also states that Smollett already performed his service and there's no need to prosecute him. Like I said, the city is planning on having Jussie Smollett pay over $110,000 on investigation charges.
Wow, so crazy.
It is.
Today, Walt Disney's Dumbo is set to be released. For those who don't know, the story is about a young elephant who performs in a circus because his large ears enable him to fly. The movie is a remake from the classic 1940s Dumbo film, this time directed by well-known filmmaker Tim Burton, who is famous for making The Nightmare Before Christmas.
The cast is fun-filled with Danny DeVito, Eva Green, Colin Farrell, and even Michael Keaton. Dumbo is expected to make a big opening today and do well in the box offices. I know I used to love Dumbo as a kid.
Yes, I'm so excited to see it. It's going to be great.
Coming up, Drew McDonald tells us all the latest in sports.
And has spring finally sprung? John Watson gives us our weather forecast.
You're watching Nest News on Spinnaker TV.
As we slowly leave the basketball season, baseball and softball is coming in to take the spotlight.
That's right, Kara. Here's Drew McDonald with all things exciting in sports.
That's me. The Utah track and field team hosted the Spring Break Invitational last weekend, and gold was on the Ospreys' minds. George Escobar won the 800-meter event at a time of 1:52.08 and earned a new PR record. Tim Doyle was runner-up in the 1500-meter event with a time of 3:50. Coming off an injury last year, Anderson Bobo earned a new personal record in 5,000 meters with a time of 15:24. Lydia Von Dijk headlined the women's team, earning 4th place in the 1500-meter with a time of 4:33. That's a mouthful. UNF baseball split their 4-game series at home against conference foe FGCU last weekend as both teams won 2 games apiece. The Ospreys' biggest performance, though, was during the series, but during the 4th game as they were up to 7 runs. That's not 8, not 6, but 7. In the bottom of the 8th for a 14-8 win over FGCU. The baseball team was not done as they played UCF this past Wednesday, but they lost 5-0 against stellar pitching from Jordan Spicer of the Knights. Spicer hurled 6 shutout innings while allowing 2 hits and punching out 3. The team heads up to Liberty University for a weekend conference series starting on Friday, March 28th at 6 p.m. The annual Sunshine Showdown took place at the baseball grounds of Jacksonville between number 24 Florida Gators and number 21 FSU Seminoles. After both teams went back and forth in the early innings, the Gators capitalized on FSU's faltering bullpen and got a 4-2 lead they would not relinquish. Christian Great Scott was dominant in relief with 3 shutout innings to earn his second win of the season. I'm Dwayne Donald, and that's your sports update. Be sure to follow UNF Spinnaker on social media for all updates on UNF sports, and follow yours truly at RunDMC_912. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Drew. You know, Hannah, I was finally enjoying some spring weather, and then it decided to get cooler again.
I know, it's been a bit chilly since Wednesday. Let's go to John Watson with more on this week's weather.
Thank you, Hannah and Kara. Let's get right into this week's weather. Today's going to be bright and sunny with a high of 76 and a low of 57. No need for sunglasses this weekend as clouds will be in view. We're looking at warm temperatures with the highs in the low 80s and the lows in the high 50s. On Monday, we see a low range in temperatures with the high set to 63 and the low set to 60. Showers are expected, so make sure you keep your umbrella handy. Tuesday and Wednesday, we see a drop in temperatures with the highs in the upper 60s and lows in the high 40s and mid 50s. This has been your Nest News weather forecast. Back to you, Hannah and Kara.
Thanks, John. Well, that's all we have for you today, Ospreys.
Thank you so much for joining us this week, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, both at UNF Spinnaker.
And while you're at it, subscribe to our YouTube channel and newsletter at unfspinnaker.com.
Our next show will be Friday, April 5th, but before you go, please take our spring survey that can be found at unfspinnaker.com.
It's at the very top of our website and only take about 2 minutes. This will let us know how you think we're doing and how we can serve you better.
We'll see you next time, Ospreys, and remember, we're working for you. Swoop!